Let me ask you something personal. Do you ever feel like no matter how hard you try, money just slips through your fingers? Like you're doing everything right, but still, at the end of the month, nothing's left. And then you look at certain people who never seem to stress about money, who never talk about it obsessively, who just have it figured out. What are they doing differently? Here's the thing that will surprise you. It's not about how much they earn. It's not about some secret investment trick. It's actually about how their brain works. And today, I'm going to show you 10 signs that tell you whether your brain is wired for wealth. Some of these will shock you. Some will make you say, wait, that's literally me. Stay till the end, because the last point, nobody talks about it. Ever. Behavioral economists spent years studying people who were genuinely great with money. And what they found was not what anyone expected. These people don't look rich. They don't act rich. They don't even talk about money that much. But quietly, steadily, their wealth just keeps growing. Researchers at the University of Chicago found something fascinating. The best predictor of long-term wealth isn't your income. It isn't your education. It's specific psychological patterns hidden deep in how you make daily decisions. So let's find out. Do you have them? Sign number 1 will seem completely backwards. People who are best with money actually think about money the least. Sounds crazy, right? But here's why. They've built systems, automatic savings, automatic bills, automatic investments. Everything runs on its own. They don't have to think. They don't have to fight themselves. The right decision just happens. Cornell University found that people who automate their finances build more wealth and feel less stress than people who manage everything manually. And there's a brain science reason for this. Your brain has a limited amount of willpower every single day. Every decision you make, even small ones, drains that willpower a little bit. Smart money people figured this out, so they removed the decision entirely. Think about it like this. A great chef doesn't decide every morning whether to cook. The kitchen is already set up. The ingredients are ready. The habit is automatic. That's what these people did with their money. Now this one gave me chills when I first read it. Scientists used brain scans, actual MRI machines, to study how people react to debt. And for some people, debt doesn't feel like a number. It feels like pain, like a heaviness in the chest, like something physically sitting on top of them. They'll say things like, I can't sleep when I owe someone money. It feels like I'm being chased. Stanford neuroscientists found that in these people, debt activates the same regions in the brain as physical threat and danger. Their brain learned early in life owing something means real risk. And that creates something powerful, an almost unconscious drive to eliminate debt as fast as humanly possible. Not because they planned it, not because someone told them to, because their body literally won't let them rest until it's gone. Here's a simple test. When you see a $200 pair of shoes, what's the first thing your brain thinks? Most people think, that's expensive, or I want those. But people wired for wealth think something completely different. They think, that's 8 hours of my life. That's 6% of my monthly income. Their brain automatically converts every purchase into time or percentage, and that changes everything. Because the moment your brain says, is this worth 8 hours of my life, that emotional impulse gets interrupted. The Journal of Consumer Psychology found that people who naturally think this way make significantly more rational financial decisions. It's not a skill they learned in a book. It's just how their brain is wired to process the world. And sometimes, honestly, it's exhausting for them, because they can't even buy a coffee without calculating something. But it creates a natural wall against impulsive spending. Okay, this one is genuinely fascinating. You know that feeling when you buy something new? That little rush of excitement? That's dopamine, your brain's reward chemical. Now here's what makes wealthy-minded people different. Their brain releases that same dopamine when they save money, not when they spend, when they save. A 2018 University of Pennsylvania study used brain imaging on people while they made financial decisions. And for some individuals, watching their account balance grow lit up the same reward centers as receiving an actual gift. Their brain is literally rewarding them for saving. And here's the beautiful part. That dopamine hit from buying something, it fades in 3 days, maybe less. But the satisfaction of watching your savings grow month after month, that feeling compounds just like the money does. It never gets old. This one always makes people laugh because it seems so irrational. These people will spend 20 minutes comparing two brands of rice, checking price per gram, checking reviews, for a $3 purchase. But then they'll invest $10,000 in an index fund without blinking. How does that make any sense? Actually, it makes perfect sense. That $3 rice purchase happens 200 times a year. Multiply small decisions over a lifetime, and they add up to enormous amounts. MIT researchers found that people who optimize their small recurring expenses build significantly more wealth than people who only focus on big financial decisions. The big decision? They already researched it months ago. When the moment comes, it's not even a decision anymore. It's just execution. Small decisions are where real money is made or lost. They figured that out. You get a raise. What do? Most people upgrade. Nicer apartment, newer phone, better car. Economists call it lifestyle creep, and almost everyone falls for it. But here's what's strange about people wired for wealth. When their spending starts rising with their income, it actually makes them feel wrong. Not proud, not excited, uncomfortable, like wearing shoes that don't fit. Their friends wonder why they still drive the old car. Family asks why they haven't bought a bigger house. But internally, their baseline never shifted. The National Bureau of Economic Research found that people who maintain large gaps between income and spending, regardless of how much they earn, accumulate wealth at rates far ahead of their peers. Their secret isn't earning more. It's simply not spending just because they can. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine yourself at 65, retired, maybe sitting somewhere peaceful, living off what you saved today. How real does that person feel to you? For most people, that future self feels like a stranger, too far away, too abstract, hard to care about. But for people wired for wealth, that future person feels completely real. Stanford researchers put people in virtual reality and showed them aged versions of themselves. And after just a few minutes, their saving behavior changed dramatically. But financially skilled people don't need VR. They already have that connection naturally. When they're about to spend money, a quiet voice in the back of their mind asks, "Does 65-year-old me wish this, or wish I had invested it?" And they genuinely listen to that voice, because to them, that future person already exists, and they don't want to let them down. Most people feel regret after a purchase. You get home, look at what you bought, and think, did I really need that? But people with exceptional money skills feel that regret before they buy. Their brain runs the full simulation in advance. I pick this up, I walk to the counter, I pay, I get home, I feel stupid. And they feel that stupid feeling right now before they've even touched their wallet. Princeton researchers called this effective forecasting, the ability to predict your own emotional future accurately. And people who have this ability make far fewer impulsive purchases, not because they have more discipline, but because their brain already showed them the ending, and the ending wasn't worth it. Here's the dark one. People who are great with money often spend time imagining the worst. Job loss, medical emergency, market crash. They've mentally walked through every nightmare scenario multiple times, in detail. Sounds exhausting, right? But psychologists found something surprising. This mental rehearsal, called defensive pessimism, actually helps people perform better in uncertain situations. Because by the time the crisis arrives, they've already lived through it in their head. The panic is gone, the plan is ready. That's why they always have emergency funds. That's why they never over-leverage. That's why they diversify, because they can vividly imagine what happens if they don't. And here it is, the one nobody talks about. These people, the ones who are brilliant with money, often feel guilty when they spend on themselves. Not when they can't afford it, even when they absolutely can, even after hitting every savings goal, even when the purchase is completely reasonable. They'll book a nice dinner and feel wrong, like they broke a promise to their future self. A 2020 study in the Journal of Economic Psychology confirmed that high savers experience more guilt around personal spending than people who save very little. And this is the hidden cost of being great with money. It doesn't always feel like a superpower. Sometimes it feels like a prison. So, here's the real truth. These 10 habits, they don't all look like strengths. Some of them look like anxiety. Some look like overthinking.